This is a Japanese ghost story. Not long ago, I went on a drive with my girlfriend, who loved antiques. I also enjoyed secondhand treasures, like old clothes and retro games. So we decided to spend the day together, visiting antique shops and thrift stores. We laughed and talked as we searched through dusty aisles, each finding a few bargains that lifted our spirits. Then, while driving on, we noticed a shabby, lonely little store on the roadside. Excited, I said, "Who knows? In a rundown shop like this, you might find something rare, maybe even a hidden treasure." She gave me a skeptical look, but we both stepped inside. The shop was no bigger than a small convenience store. Most of it was filled with secondhand books, stacked in disorderly piles. There were only a few pieces of furniture or clothing. And on one shelf, a single, dusty old game cartridge sat alone. It was nothing rare, nothing valuable, the kind of item no collector would ever want. I sighed and muttered, "Guess there's nothing here. Maybe we should just leave." Just then, she gasped sharply, "Ah!" I rushed over and found her standing before a basket filled with stuffed animals and ornaments. Her eyes were fixed on something at the very bottom. I asked, "Did you find something good?" This is amazing," she whispered, her voice trembling with excitement. She pushed aside the toys and pulled out a strange 20-sided object, a perfect polyhedron, dull in color yet strangely captivating. Now that I think about it, how was she able to see the object at the very bottom of the basket, hidden from view? Perhaps the strange events had already begun from that very moment. "What is this? Some kind of rare item?" she asked eagerly. "I don't know," I replied. "I've never seen anything like it. But as an ornament, it doesn't look bad. If it's cheap, why not buy it?" She nodded and carried the object to the counter. Behind it sat an old man, slouched in his chair, reading a worn-out book. "Excuse me, how much is this?" she asked politely. At that moment I saw it. The old man's expression changed. For an instant, pure shock crossed his face. Then, just as quickly, he forced himself back into a calm, ordinary look. That," he stammered. "Let me see. I can't quite recall the price. Just wait here a moment." He shuffled into the back room, likely his home as well. From inside, we heard the faint sounds of an argument with an elderly woman, probably his wife. At last, he returned, carrying a yellowed piece of paper. The old man cleared his throat and said, "Well, it's one of those old toys. It's called RINFONE. This instruction sheet explains everything in detail." He spread out a dirty, yellowed piece of paper. It looked very old. On it was a drawing of the same 20-sided object, labeled RINFONE. The diagram showed how it could transform, first into a bear, then into a hawk, and finally into a fish. Beside the drawings were strange words, a mixture of Latin and English, the old man explained. "In this way," he continued, "the ornament can transform into various animals. First, hold the RINFONE in both hands and rub it as if you were shaping a rice ball." Obediently, she held the object in both hands, pressing and rubbing it gently. With a sharp click, one of the facets rose upward. "Wow, amazing!" she exclaimed. "Now," the old man said, "try turning that raised piece, or pull it up higher." She did as instructed, and another face sank inward. "This is incredible. It's just like a puzzle. You should try it too, she laughed. The mechanism is hard to explain in words, but imagine the toys known as Transformers. A cassette turning into a robot, or a gun or a truck shifting into a machine. The RINFONE was much the same. Press or twist certain panels, and it changed into animals like a bear, a hawk, or a fish. By now, she was completely fascinated. Even I had to admit it was an extraordinary toy. Hesitantly, she asked, how much is it? The old man stroked his chin. Well, it's quite old, but honestly, we had forgotten it was even here. All right then, how about 10,000 yen? If you put it online, some collector might pay hundreds of thousands. But my girlfriend was good at bargaining. In the end, she got it for 6,500 yen, and we left the shop with her smiling proudly. The next day was Monday. After having dinner together at a restaurant, we each went home early. On Monday night, after work, I returned home. The phone rang. It was her. "Yu-kun, the RINFONE is amazing," she said excitedly. "It really feels like a puzzle, slowly taking the shape of animals. All day at work, I couldn't concentrate because I just kept thinking about it. Honestly, it's more fun than any video game I've ever played." She spoke on and on, her voice brimming with excitement. After we hung up, a message arrived. It was a photo she had taken on her phone. In her hands, the RINFONE was beginning to protrude the shape of a bear's head and two legs. I stared at the photo in awe, thinking, what a cleverly made toy. I sent her back a message praising it, then went to bed for the night. The next evening, she sent me a message. I stayed up all night with the RINFONE. I finally completed the bear form. Come see it. I sighed, but drove over to her place anyway. When I arrived, I asked immediately, "So, you said you stayed up all night. Did you even go to work today?" "Of course I did," she laughed. "But I drank way too much coffee just to stay awake, and now I feel sick." On the table was the RINFONE, fully transformed into a bear, for legs and a head slightly raised, as if it were alive. "Whoa, this is incredible," I said in amazement. "How on earth does it even work?" She grinned proudly. "Isn't it amazing? I'm completely hooked. Next, it should transform from the bear into a hawk." I was just about to start. I shook my head. "Don't you dare stay up all night again. Do it tomorrow instead." She laughed softly. "You're right. I'll wait until then." That evening, she cooked us a simple homemade meal. After spending some quiet time together, I went home for the night. By the way, I should mention, the RINFONE was about the size of a softball, small enough to hold, yet heavy and strangely solid in the hands. By Wednesday night, another photo arrived. A hawk, wings spread wide, ready to soar. She called me and laughed. "It looks so real, doesn't it? Honestly, this toy is incredible." I agreed, but warned her again. "Just don't get too obsessed. There's only the fish left, right? Take your time." She promised, but then something unsettling began to happen. Thursday night, the phone rang. "Yu-kun, did you just call me?" she asked nervously. "No, why? What's wrong?" For the past 5 minutes, every 30 seconds my phone rings. When I answer, I hear the sound of a crowd, like people talking all at once. Then it cuts off. And the caller ID. It doesn't say private or public phone. It says Kanata. I fell silent. Here I should explain. In Japanese, Kanata means the beyond, or the far side. A word that hints at something distant, unreachable, even otherworldly. I asked, "Do you want me to come over?" "No," she whispered. "I'll just turn off my phone and sleep." Trying to change the subject, I asked, "So, how's the fish form coming along?" "Almost finished," she said. "When I do, I'll lend it to you." On Friday, still worried about the strange calls, I phoned her and went over to her place. The RINFONE was almost in the shape of a fish. All that remained was to attach the dorsal fin and the tail. I asked, "So, you had another strange call today?" She nodded. "Yes. During lunch break, while I was eating bread, my phone rang. This time it showed as private. So I answered. Then I heard many men's and women's voices together, all shouting, 'Let us out!' And then the line cut. I frowned. Maybe it's just a crossed line, or some prank. Shall we go to the phone shop together tomorrow?" "Yeah," she said softly. "Let's do that." After that, we sat together, working on the RINFONE. We twisted and pressed, trying to complete the fish. But no matter what we did, the fins would not appear. Maybe they made the last part extra difficult. To make it a real challenge, I laughed nervously. She smiled faintly, but we both struggled late into the night. Finally, we grew tired, since the next day was Saturday, and I had brought a change of clothes. I decided to stay at her place that night. That night, I had a terrible dream. From the depths of a dark ravine, naked men and women were climbing upward, countless hands clawing their way toward me. I scrambled up the cliff, desperate to escape. Just as I reached the top and grabbed hold, a woman's hand clutched my ankle. "Take me with you," she screamed. I woke drenched in sweat. It was just past 5 a.m. I lay staring at the ceiling, unable to sleep again, until she finally awoke. On Saturday, we went to the phone shop, but they could not find any cause for the strange calls. So, to lighten the mood, we decided, why not visit a fortune teller just for fun? There was one woman in the city, famous for her accuracy. People called her the Cat Lady. She lived with many cats and performed her readings at home. Reservations were required, but when we called, we were lucky enough to get an appointment for Sunday. That day we spent shopping and stayed out overnight. On Sunday afternoon, we arrived at the Cat Lady's house. I rang the doorbell. "Yes," came a voice. "We're the ones who made the reservation," I said. "It's open. Please come in." We stepped inside. In the hallway sat a cat. When it saw us, it hissed sharply and ran into the back. We walked further inside. In a Western-style room sat the Cat Lady, surrounded by cats. But the instant we entered, all the cats shrieked at once, as if they had seen their worst enemy, and scattered in every direction. The air grew heavy. My girlfriend and I exchanged uneasy glances. The Cat Lady said coldly, "I'm sorry, but please leave." I was annoyed. "What's the meaning of this?" She replied, "The reason I keep many cats is because they sense such things. They can distinguish those who are safe from those who are not. Never before have they reacted like this. Something clicked in my mind. I told her about the strange phone calls and about the nightmare I had seen. At last, she muttered reluctantly, "Behind your girlfriend, I can see it. An ornament in the shape of animals. Throw it away immediately." "What is it?" I pressed. "Is it cursed? Like one of those antiques with bad luck?" She turned away, refusing to say more. "Please, just go home. I don't want to see it or say another word." My girlfriend's face grew pale, but I would not give up. "What is it really? Tell me, what's wrong with that thing?" Finally, the cat lady stood up, her voice breaking into a scream. "That thing is a condensed hell. A gate to the Inferno. Throw it away. Leave this place at once." I stammered, "But what about the money?" "I will not take it," she cried. Her face, twisted with terror, was the most frightening thing of all. That night, we hurried back to her home. Together, we wrapped the RINFONE and its yellowed instruction sheet in newspaper, bound it tightly with layers of tape, and carried it out to the garbage collection site. The next morning, the truck came and took it away. From that day on, no further strange events occurred. Weeks later, I visited her again. She loved playing with anagrams, rearranging letters to make new words. Holding a pen and paper, she said softly, "You know, RINFONE. If you rearrange it, it spells INFERNO. That means hell." I forced a dry laugh. It's just a coincidence." She looked uneasy. "But what do you think would have happened if we had completed the fish form?" I could only smile weakly. Inside, I prayed that the object had truly been destroyed at the garbage plant, and prayed that there wasn't a second one waiting in some other forgotten shop.